You have completed the study of the introductory aspects about human resource management. Let us quickly look on to what we have covered in unit number 1. We were talking about people, or what we other way tell people at work. All the resources, all the non-human resources are being utilized properly by people in the organization. We have seen various definitions of human resource management: acquiring people, developing people, using people in the most effective way. When we were discussing about importance of human resource management, we have seen in these points, we explained the concept or the importance of human resource management in these points: hiring the right person, reducing the turnover or attrition rate, making people to do their best, conducting of interviews, conducting of good interviews so that we will be able to understand people and get the right type of people, trying to follow the rules, regulations of various agencies, governments in connection with people, safety aspects, safe practices to be followed in the organization, providing a fair remuneration, training and development. So these were the points which we have seen in terms of importance of human resource management. And then we moved on to the objectives of human resource management. The main objective of the organization of the human resource management is to accomplish the goals of the enterprise. So in that perspective, we have seen in the following heads. 1, we were talking about social objective for the betterment of the society, for the betterment of the community. We have seen personal objectives from the point of the employees, trying to provide them the best possible situation, best possible environment for them to work. Then we have seen from the enterprise objective, that means to facilitate the policies, rules, regulations framed by the organization, communicating it with the employees, trying to fulfill the objectives which is set by the organization through people. So the second one, we were talking from the employee perspective, but the third point, we were talking from the organization perspective. And then we talk about union objectives, in where union group of people, protecting them, checking that whether their activities are involved for the betterment of the organization. So these were the objectives which we have learned. Then we moved on to one of the major important topic in unit number 1, that is about functions of human resource management. Many of these functions which we have learned, we are going to see in detail in the coming units. So the entire function of human resource management was classified into 2: managerial function and operative functions. So when we talk about managerial functions, planning, organizing, directing, controlling of people, planning the right type of people, right number of people required for the organization, pooling them, getting them, organizing them, a structural pattern, and the flow of work is being taken care of in organizing. Directing them, motivating, providing good leadership to do the work in a most effective way. Controlling or checking or seeing through that they are doing their work in the best possible manner. And then the second part is what we call it as operative function or the staffing functions. Operative functions we have seen under these heads. One is about procurement of personnel, that is employment, trying to find out how many number of people or the right type of people and the right number of people required for the organization. Doing a job analysis. That means you start learning about, start understanding about each and every particular job and its responsibilities. From where we will get people, that is through recruitment. Selection process, which we already were mentioning about it, and we have explained there is a selection process which you will be learning later. And then about placement and induction. So these points which we have just now seen are coming in the respective units, and we will be learning about it in much more detail than what we have learned in the previous sections. The second one, we talk about human resource development, which includes performance appraisal, training, management development, career planning, and development. These topics also, I have given you a brief idea about these topics in the previous sections, and much more details we will be learning in the coming units. So it includes the training program, developing the individual, giving training programs, and through that enhancing their skills and knowledge, trying to retain the employees in the organization for a long period of time, the changes and modifications which is happening in the organization and its effect on people are being taken care of in human resource development. Then we were talking about compensation, especially in terms of salary administration, the importance of the job and the payment which we are making for the job, the various subcategories, splits, which are there in compensation, like incentives, fringe benefits, social security measures, all these things we were learning through compensation. And then we talk about the integration of human relations. The relationship between employees, the relationship between management and employees, harmony among people in the organization, working as a team, all issues or any sort of grievances, solving these grievances, moving towards achieving the objectives as a team. And then industrial relations, that means more onto an external aspect than just internal. Relationship among each and every group of people in the organization. Then we discussed about the human resource process. With one slide, I was explaining about human resource process. So human resource process, again, we can tell as a continuous process. So based on the objectives and goals of the organization, we require people, and that is being measured, identified through human resource planning. And based on that, recruitment and selection happens. And the people who are selected are being properly trained or oriented. And a regular check onto their performance is being done through performance appraisal. And based on this performance appraisal, the salary increase, promotions, transfer, demotions, terminations, all these things happen. So when these promotions, transfer, and all this happen, again, the process of human resource planning happens. So it is a continuous process. In this particular diagram, you can see the two sides, available skills and talents and regulatory. So these two things are having an impact on the process of human resource. The right type of people available in the market, available in the job market, and the rules and regulations which are having an impact on the entire process of human resource. Then we discussed about role of human resource manager. Various roles are being played by a human resource manager as a specialist, knowledge person in that particular area of understanding people. They provide as an information source about the latest updates connected with people, qualifications, experience, knowledge of people, and what type of people and qualified people are available in the job market. They act as a change agent, adopting changes in the organization, as a controller, taking care of the entire aspects of people in the organization, as a liaison man, interacting with different groups inside the organization, as a housekeeper, protecting people, safety aspects and all, we were discussing about it. So they act as a housekeeper to protect people who are working in the organization, and as a firefighter, trying to solve issues and problems. Then we quickly will be looking on to the duties. So duties and responsibilities we have discussed very elaborately in the previous sessions. So here I just quickly look on to these things, what we were discussing. We were talking about the updating job analysis, job description, and job specification, which talks about the modification and updations of the job in the organization. Advising the line managers in terms of people to be taken or about the existing people, trying to help the line managers in getting the right type of people, telling about the importance of multi-skilling, downsizing, and delayering. I told you about what is multi-skilling, downsizing, delayering. Multi-skilling, different skills in an employee. Downsizing, reducing the number of people. Delayering, taking a layer itself from the organizational structure. Then we talk about the fifth point, talks about the recruitment part, searching for prospective employees and motivating to apply for them. And then trying to, if needed, we outsource to the various functions to the employment agencies, if needed by the organization, conducting various tests and interviews, induction program to make them accustomed to the organization, trying to identify training needs and what type of training to be provided, and then administering the salaries and employees' benefits, various techniques to motivate the employees, and as we all discussed about retention management, retaining the good, talented employees in the organization, quality improvement programs for people, close and sound relationships between each and every group, and trying to see that the organization work as a team, collective and individual bargaining to solve various problems of individuals, administering the employee benefits programs, encouraging to form as a team, talking about and considering about various internal mobility aspects, organizing for promotions and transfers, conducting surveys and research to update the knowledge of job market, of employees, their changes, their taste and preferences, their expectations, enhancing a good relationship of people in the organization. And then we were talking about the organization of human resource department that actually changes from a small organization. The human resource department may be very small, but when the organization is in a higher level aspect, when they are involved in many activities, when the number of employees are more, of course, we have different sub-departments in human resource. Training department may be there. The recruitment and selection may be involved in by some group of people. Induction programs may be involved in that. Compensation may be taken care of. So like that, we have the organization setup, growth, and more number of subsections will be there in and organization of human resource department. And we discussed about human resource management in international context. When we talk about international context, multicultural organization, people from different backgrounds, people from different countries, having different perspectives towards employment. So how we are going to manage these people? Are we going to give all the expectations of this different type of people from different countries? So that is where we try to learn about it. So when we talk about multicultural or when we talk about international context, we have to be a little more careful when we are dealing with people, because the way of the approach towards the job itself is different from one type of people from a particular country to another country. So these were discussed in HRM in international context. Then I discussed about or given a very quick look in the previous classes about human resource accounting, that is measuring data, identifying and measuring data about human resources, converting it into a quantitative term aspect, the cost involved in that, the cost involved for employees in the organization. That is where we focus on human resource accounting. And auditing is a checkpoint, whether we have the right type of people, whether the policies and procedures which are followed in the organization is positive and encouraging for the employees. So this was what we discussed in human resource audit. And in human resource information system, we have seen that a software or a sort of an integrated way of to see that all the information about human resource management is available. So this was what we have discussed.